welcome to another episode of Murder Dictionary Podcast. My name is Brianna, and that's Kelly.
I'm changing it to Sleepy Dictionary.
I know,
podcast.
she's rubbing her eyes like crazy.
Where are we?
Welcome to Murder Dictionary, Kelly.
Can we true crime and chill and sleep already? Please.
This episode is going to...
And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow, that's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer, that's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
feature us snoring for the next hour and a half.
I do a weird clicking thing when I sleep.
You do?
Yeah.
What kind of clicking thing?
Wait.
Like a Aborigine language, or...
Yeah, it's like the little floppy thing in the back of my throat.
floppy thing. I can't remember what that's named.
Flagellum.
Flinninibrinilum.
Platelet.
That's it. That's the one.
Food stopper.
Girl, don't lie. It's more like dick stopper.
Emergency.
So this week we're definitely going to snore a lot. I hope you don't mind. We've come down with a bad case of narcolepsy.
This is the earliest we've been up.
Narco-sleepy. Yeah.
I've been up. No, you get up early. It's 8:30 and I'm dying.
Welcome to the morning. This is what AM hours look like.
Where am I? How do you guys do this?
So before we get started, we wanted to remind you to check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you haven't left an iTunes review or rated and reviewed, subscribed, all that good stuff, we would appreciate if you would do that as well. We have a couple new Patreon supporters this week. So we wanted to say thank you to Cassie, Nicole, and Seneca.
Hot.
Right?
You know those
you
are all
hotties over there, Cassie, Nicole, and Seneca. Thank you
Nicole,
so much.
Seneca.
We appreciate your support on Patreon.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We did an early release episode this week, and also I have another episode for us to record, so we're going to drop another bonus probably in the next week or
Dropping
so.
two?
Yeah, a
Fire.
twofer.
Woo.
So keep an eye out for that. If you aren't on our Patreon, you could go to our Patreon. The link is in the show notes. And we drop episodes early and also do some bonuses. So check those out, and some merch and stuff like that. Cool?
Cool.
The description. Oh, sorry.
No.
You good?
I'll be dropping beats soon. That's all
Your next mixtape is coming out on
Yeah.
Patreon. You're going to be like the Cardi B of podcasting.
You know that I love the crime.
And I pay my mama bills.
Yeah.
I ain't got no time to chill.
Oh, you're definitely the rapper out of the both of us.
So what else? We've got some other things in our description and show notes. We have timestamps for the parts of the story tonight that are going to be a little bit gruesome or gory or anything like that. Some trigger warning kind of stuff. So if you want to skip over those parts, we'll put timestamps in the description. We also have some links to resources for anti-bullying and CPS and domestic violence and suicide hotlines and stuff like that. So if you need those resources, we always link those in the show notes as well.
Can we just for bullying, anti-bullying, can we just leave links to like a Super Soakers?
Yes. Or just message us your address and we'll take care of them for you. Holla at your girl.
Let's go TP a house.
We just turn into bullies. That's what just happened.
Fight fire with fire, Brianna.
And then the last thing that I wanted to let you know, and I'm going to let Kelly know at the same time. Are you scared? You look scared.
Are you pregnant? Do I need to?
You guys, I'm having a baby.
An ass baby?
It's immaculate conception from a strap-on. So we actually have merch up.
Squeeze me?
Squeeze you.
Oh my God.
We are on Threadless, where you can get some shirts, mugs, phone cases,
Shut up.
stuff like that. Yes.
Timestamp for
It's official. Timestamp for your crying. So we've got a couple designs up on Threadless. So it's going to be murderdictionary.threadless.com. And I'll put the link in the show notes. You don't need a pen.
Cool. What was it again? Let me look it up.
Murder Dictionary.
What's our name?
Murderdictionary.threadless.com.
Threadless.com. The realist. Why did I put that?
So we've got those up live now. So if you want to get some merch, the link will be in the show notes, and that's the address to go get it. And we've got, shirts, mugs, phone cases, a bunch of stuff with a couple designs. And also we're probably going to be releasing a couple more designs coming up soon because I have another designer working on some new stuff.
Cool.
So check that out. I'm really excited.
I'm excited too. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Now
it's official because people have been asking, okay, what about shirts and shit? But, it's taken us a minute, but they're here. We got shirts.
Woo.
Yeah.
Although my dad doesn't really support us or anything like that, I'm going to make him wear everything. You don't have a choice. You better represent.
He's going to wear 7 Murder Dictionary things at a time.
Yeah.
It's fucking summer.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing a scarf?
Yeah, my dad dresses like a cop anyways. I like the old pictures, just all LAPD hats.
And coroner. I feel like he wears coroner stuff
no,
too.
That would
he?
be acceptable.
Oh, okay.
You can't have Special Forces Team LAPD. Where the fuck does he find these shirts, bro?
The cop store.
Yeah. Let me know where that is so I can stay way fucking far from that.
I think that's it for
awesome.
announcements and stuff like that.
Excited.
Yeah.
It's story time.
It is story time. We are on letter S, part 1, and we're going to do sisters.
Sing me a lullaby. Sisters, yes. Okay, cool.
Yes.
I love sisters. I mean, I hate my sisters, but
No, you like
no,
one
I
of your
love
sisters.
them. I love all my sisters. They're so cool.
So tonight we're going to be talking about the Papin sisters. They are French, which means I am definitely pronouncing everything in this story wrong. So you don't have to email me about it. Just know ahead of time that I don't know anything about French.
It's clearly Papin.
It's Papin.
Papin.
Yeah, I've heard it pronounced a few different ways. So I'm just going with my,
Papin?
Valley girl way because I'm from the Valley and that's how I talk.
When you say Papin?
Yeah, it's like Papin is what it looks like. Papin.
Poopin.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
But
poopin'.
I feel I've heard documentarians say papa with no N, and I'm like,
I hate
are
that.
N's silent in French? What the fuck's going on? Papa. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm saying Papin. And I've heard a lot of other people say Papin or Papin.
Yeah, I like Papin.
Yeah, that's just Papin.
That's just Papin. Let's get the story Papin.
Girl, that name is Papin. Normally, I just do the whole story and you don't know about it until I read it to you. But if you remember correctly, last week you saw a picture of them.
Oh, yeah. I thought
I was like, oh, this is the story we're doing, which I don't normally do. But as fate would have it, you looked at it and you were like, is that David Carradine?
There's a handsome lady.
A very handsome lady,
Yeah.
one of the sisters. Yeah. So I will post some pictures of them, the Carradine sisters, so you can check that out. So Clemence de Rais and Gustave Papin met in either 1899 or 1900.
Okay. Cool.
Clemence was called a woman of, quote, low morals, and Gustave was an alcoholic.
My kind of girls.
Right? I was like, yay for both of those things. Get it done. They go together. It's soulmates,
It
right?
really sounds like they're popping all the time. That's just popping.
I feel like they should put that on a Tinder bio. They're just like, I have low morals. Come get it.
And I love booze.
When they started dating, there were rumors going around that Clemence was having an affair with her boss, which is also super hot. Sorry.
Yeah, and if you want to raise.
It's like the movie Secretary. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
how
that's
else
how you
do
get
you-
things done. You move
Yeah.
up in the world. It's how you become a boss lady, is with your holes. You guys, I'm joking. Don't do that. Bust the glass ceiling with blowjobs. Gustave was aware of the affair. Like, he knew that she was fucking her boss. And he was extremely jealous. But he loved her, and so they just kept dating, even though he knew that was going on. He's a stronger man than me. I could not do that.
Yeah, not at all.
In October 1901, she became pregnant, and they decided to get married.
Wait. I know paternity tests aren't that good back in the day.
We want prenup. Yeah, I feel like they should have gone on Maury. I mean, this is
1901 Maury.
Yeah, totally. Don't give me those eyes.
You know, it would have just been like, she's a woman, she's a whore, it's both their babies,
that's
let's
right.
kill her. Or I don't know, maybe not.
I guess Maury at the time was just, throwing them in the water or something and seeing if they could swim.
If she floats, she's pregnant.
They decided to get married, and Amelia Papin was born in February of 1902. People said that Clemence was, quote, unsuited for motherhood. Right away when she became a mother, she just kind of showed her ass. She was very insensitive. She was cold. She seemed to have no affection or attachment to the child at all.
She should have put it in showbiz.
Right? Be a stage mom. That's what you're supposed to do. If you don't care about your kids' well-being, just make money off of it. And that's kind of what she did, honestly.
And that's how Judy Garland was born.
Right? A star is born. Gotta dance. So even as they started a family and they started having kids, Gustave still suspected that Clemence was still having this affair with her boss. She apparently didn't stop seeing him. Or stop working there, from what I understand.
She's just employee of the month every month. He's like, I think
her
she's
face
still
is on
fucking."
the wall. Forever. Employee of the month, 1901 to 1913. So Gustave decided that he would get a job in another town so that they could move and he could take his family away and stop the affair. But instead of going along with it, Clemence threatened to commit suicide if they moved. And Gustave became convinced absolutely that the rumors were true. I guess before that, he was like, maybe there's a doubt in the back of my head that maybe just people are talking and it's not true. But once she really lost her shit about it, he basically felt it was confirmed. Eventually, he convinced her or possibly just forced her to move, and the couple went away to start a new life together. With each passing day once they moved, though, it became more chaotic and volatile, and their relationship started deteriorating once they moved. By all accounts, Clemence was an extremely cold and unstable person, and the same way that she was with her kids, where she was just very standoffish and wasn't affectionate or attached, she had the same sort of attitude towards her husband. Gustave, on the other hand, really was madly in love with her. But because she was so cold to him, he started drinking more and more. He was already pretty boozy, but then he stepped it up and was just a full-blown alcoholic. And of course, this caused even more problems at home. So it was just kind of cyclical.
Yeah. Booze doesn't always fix things, temporarily.
It doesn't?
No,
Oh my God, I have to go reevaluate my life. Their second daughter, Christine, was born in 1905. From infancy, Christine was a difficult child. She was that baby that's just, no matter what, never sleeps through the night, is whatever it is, colicky, crying all the time. As a toddler, same thing, just worst terrible twos ever. Her entire life, she was kind of just a difficult person.
Weren't they just getting babies drunk back then, though?
Right,
for these
just go to
alcohol.
sleep, baby.
Yeah, here,
Go to
baby,
sleep.
just suck on my finger or the shot of rum, and then they just fall asleep.
Yeah, my dad still jokes about giving kids alcohol.
Yeah, you rub a
Because
bottle on
he
there.
raised, he was one of the older ones, so he was always taking care of the kids. And I'm like, Dad, you can't give babies alcohol.
Yeah.
He joked about it with me, with my brother.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not cool, bro. This isn't 1905.
I'm boozing up every baby I get.
I mean, does make them tired. Sweepy baby.
And they get all pink.
Oh, no.
Flustered.
So Christine, she was smart. In addition to being difficult, she was a smart, quick, bright kid. But she wasn't a super genius. She was just a little bit smarter than average. And she was very strong-willed, and her personality was really strong.
This is a baby?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Some babies are just...
Playing chess and some are doing
Exactly.
algorithms, It's not the algorithm type, it's the chess type. I get it. Smart babies.
Smart baby, but not genius baby.
Not genius baby. Okay.
Soon after she was born, Christine's parents gave her to her father's sister.
You can just pawn off babies like that?
Oh, yeah.
Note taken.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of historical stories where that happens, where I feel like nobody was raised by their parents back in the day.
Yeah, no, I'm giving you my kid if I have one. If I poop out a baby, I'm like, here, your life will be better.
I will gladly take it.
Her girlfriend's vegan.
You're gonna
be
eat the best
so
baby
happy.
food.
Yeah.
So once they gave Christine to the aunt, she was actually happy to have the baby. You do hear stories of a baby going to live with a family member, and that's not the case, where they're resentful about it or take it out on the child.
Yeah, like Harry Potter.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly like Harry Potter.
They put him underneath the stairs in the closet.
Yeah, it wasn't like Harry Potter. Christine was actually really loved and well taken care of by her aunt. Yeah. She didn't have to do any spells or anything, or wear a scarf or nothing.
Way to go, Auntie.
So Christine would actually stay with her aunt for the next 7 years. And their third daughter, Leah, was pronounced Leia, was born in 1911. Leia was kind of the opposite of Christine. Leia was more introverted. She was shy. She was extremely well-behaved. She always, listened to direction. She was definitely on the opposite end of the spectrum. Leah, on the other hand, was sent to live with her uncle while she was still an infant. And she lived there until her uncle died, and she was sent to a religious orphanage. So at this point, they were just getting rid of their kids as they had them and just sending them to live with relatives.
I feel uncomfortable.
I know. Yeah, they were just having children and getting rid of them. But there was another thing that happened. While Leia was still a baby, Clemens found out that Gustav molested the oldest daughter, Amelia, who was 10 at the time.
Ew.
Yeah, barf cauldron.
Barf.
So that's awful enough in and of itself. But what makes it even worse was that Clemens decided to send Amelia away to a Catholic orphanage because she believed that the 10-year-old had seduced her husband. She had no blame or responsibility placed on Gustav, and she just said that Amelia had been the one to be a temptress, basically, at 10.
She's got that cheating guilt,
Something.
I
mean...
Or she's just a crazy lady.
Or she's just evil. I think anyone that treats their children like that is evil.
Yeah.
Fuck. I can't imagine. But you hear about things like that a lot with, children that endure those kinds of abuses, go to their parents, and their parents, for whatever reason or in whatever way, kind of make an excuse for it and downplay it or,
Yeah.
Yeah. So soon after, Christine was moved from her relative's house to a Catholic orphanage as well, and Christine was probably about 7 at this time. Clemens and Gustav eventually got a divorce, and the girls were devastated. Even though the marriage was really tumultuous, and by all accounts, they really didn't have a nice family structure and never really spent time together, they were still really upset at the time that a divorce was happening in their family because that was so rare.
What could be worse than him touching, molesting a kid? Like, there was something worse than that to break up
right? Like,
marriage.
What happened that was the last straw? If the molestation wasn't the last straw, what was it? That's crazy for that not to be what broke up your marriage.
Ate the last of the Lucky Charms. Left me a fucking half glass of milk. Something, I don't know.
It had to be about food. I agree.
Yeah, or someone farted.
Or the booze.
Or the booze, yeah.
Took the last of my whiskey. The two younger sisters, Leah and Christine, actually both went to mental institutions after the divorce. They were so upset by the fact that their family was torn apart that they actually both kind of had some sort of mental breakdown.
That's sad.
Yeah. After they recovered from the shock of that and kind of worked through it a bit, Leah and Christine were both sent to religious orphanages. The oldest, Amelia, dealt with that by joining a convent, actually. and she became a nun. When that happened, Clemence, her mother, was infuriated. She was so upset because she actually wanted to make money off of her daughters. So by Amelia joining a convent, she couldn't go work as a maid or nanny or anything like that and make money for her mom.
How about the mom gets a job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what she was expecting, to be some sort of like Molly Maid pimp or something.
Yeah, and kudos to your kid for being a fucking nun.
Right.
That's no easy
Just
feat.
let her do her thing.
Yeah.
That's hard as fuck.
Oh, you want to give up D the rest of your life? Good job. I am so
You're a
proud
better
of my
woman
dad.
than me.
Yeah, your dad's going to be so proud.
Later on, Christine would attempt to follow in her older sister Amelia's footsteps and actually wanted to join the convent. But Clemence was not having any of it. She found out that that was the plan, and she pulled Christine out of the orphanage immediately and put her to work.
Wait, isn't the point of an orphanage is that your parents don't have any right?
Yes, but I'm pretty sure that that means that they temporarily sign over their rights and they still have something.
Like, it's not daycare. Once you
yeah,
drop them
no.
off at an orphanage, you can't go. There's no take backs. Like,
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I guess she must have had some sort of rights to her because she was able to do that. But it does seem like, no, you gave up your kid.
yeah, I hope
That's
they
it. No
change-
take backsies.
Yeah, I hope they change that law
Yeah.
or whatever that is.
I mean, I'm sure it has in the last, 100 years. Once she started working, Christine was an extremely hard worker. She was dedicated. She was an excellent cook as well. Her employers said that Christine was a bit headstrong and rebellious and could be rude at times, but they looked past it because overall she was a pretty good employee other than that. The general feeling amongst wealthy people at the time was kind of, as long as a servant didn't steal anything or wasn't lazy or wasn't fucking the husband, then they were a good worker.
Yeah.
Like, you could get away with a lot because a lot of servants were doing those things,
Yeah,
you know?
fucking the husband.
Yeah.
That's cool. How else do you get nice gifts?
The problem is Christine would not ever keep a job long because she kept quitting. The reason she kept quitting was because of her little sister. 15-year-old Leah had recently got out of an orphanage too, so she could begin working. And 21-year-old Christine desperately wanted to work with her sister. Clemence would get Christine jobs, and then Christine would work there for a little while and leave soon after for one reason or another. She would find an excuse to not work there anymore, and then she would leave to try and find a position that would have 2 servants, so she could bring along her sister. And they actually managed to find a few jobs like this. So they found work in a few households together, and the sisters became inseparable. Even when they weren't working together, they only hung out together. They really didn't have any other friends. Employers and coworkers observed that oftentimes the sisters would appear to be communicating without words, like they were telepathic.
like by blinks?
Yes, exactly. Blinks and clicks.
We do
and
that all the time.
That's true. We do communicate a lot with our eyes, which is great for a podcast. There's a lot of things going on Kelly's face right now.
I'm just communicating with you.
So instead of going out for lunch or time off or taking vacations or weekends or anything, the sisters would always only spend time alone by themselves. And oftentimes they wouldn't even leave their bedroom. They would just hang out in the bedroom all the time.
I wonder why they're so reclusive.
They were just attached, inseparable.
I mean,
like,
they could be having
obsessive.
the best time ever. We don't know that.
Right,
you
yeah.
know?
You never know. They
Some-
could start a podcast. They
Yeah,
could be like
exactly.
making collages and
They could
getting
just be
a lot
saving
of
money. You know, they
Well,
work so
that's
hard.
true.
And they're like, let's just have a night in. True crime and chill.
Exactly. But really, because of this behavior being a little bit off, people were kind of creeped out by them.
Yeah, it does seem like they're fucking. I do that exactly with. Never mind. You know, just stay in a room
Well,
for 7 hours.
Christine told a friend that she believed Leia was her husband in a past life.
No.
Yeah, I can't imagine the reaction of the friend. Just like, oh, that's nice.
Barf.
So you want to go to the mall later?
No, I don't want to buy something for your sister.
Right?
Go with you to buy a gift for your sister.
But I mean, they were really inseparable and kind of obsessed with each other. That's like the only thing that would matter in their life was each other.
I don't know how to feel about this. I'm like, oh, and then...
Well, what people didn't know was that Leia and Christine had began having a sexual relationship.
Arf, cauldron.
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
Well-
Like, there's plenty of fish, right?
Exactly. There's Tinder out there.
Just
go get you some.
Go find yourself a group of sisters. If you feel that
Make
way.
friends. Yeah.
Go find someone that looks just like your sister.
So when I heard that, it actually reminded me of some articles that I had read. And so I kind of looked into this. I know it's a weird tangent to go on. However, I thought that it was worth exploring a little bit because there's actually a thing called GSA, or genetic sexual attraction. So it's a phenomena that occurs when biological relatives are separated from a young age and become attracted to one another after being reunited.
I've heard about that because there was the son and the mom, and the son was
Exactly.
super young.
Yes. And I've read, a few firsthand accounts. There was an article that came out, I think 2015, 2016, of a woman who was reunited with her biological father after not seeing him since infancy, and the same thing happened. So it is kind of this phenomena that happens with people that were related but never grew up together.
Could it
So-
just be that you're attracted to someone that kind of looks like you?
Exactly. So it is rare, but it's seen as an extreme manifestation of the theory that humans seek to partner with those that are similar to themselves. One explanation for this is that people often select mates that are like them physically or mentally, which is called assortative mating. So yes, that's pretty much the explanation behind it. In studies, people rank faces similar to their own as more attractive, desirable, trustworthy, all of those things. This is a more severe conclusion of that instinct to partner with someone like yourself. So because they were separated at an early age from infancy, individuals with GSA did not develop those family bonds with their estranged family member, which would usually make following that attraction feel taboo and keep them from acting on their impulses.
Okay, so they don't get the icky feeling because they didn't grow up with that person and they don't have a bond with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. They're just like, hey, you kind of look like me and you're kind of hot, so let's do this.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So the assortative mating combined with separation from the relative led to mistaking intense familiarity with sexual attraction, basically. So it kind of explains a little bit of why that happened with them. I know that it's really odd, and I know that there's a lot of stories kind of don't include that with the Papin sisters. If you watch certain documentaries or read certain articles, sometimes they don't even mention it, or maybe mention it at the end that someone saw them trying to interact together.
Yeah.
But I think although it makes it a little uncomfortable and it's kind of gross and I don't necessarily like talking about it, I think it's an important factor in why they were so attached and why they maybe lashed out at outsiders, because they were protecting this little unit, their little relationship that was so sacred to them, It adds a little something, a little bit more motive or intensity or something like that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So yeah, I know that a lot of stories didn't really go into depth about that, but
Thank
I figured,
God.
I know, right? Well, I'm not going to go that far into depth, but I figured it was worth kind of giving that explanation, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's GSA. I've
Yeah.
read about this, So I was like, okay, I'd rather talk a little bit about it so people understand it's not just only gross, it's gross and scientific.
Okay. And I can accept that. I can swallow that a little easier.
Right? That's kind of why I look up things like that, because I'm like, okay, this is awful. I have to make sense of it in my brain, or I have to make a really bad joke about it, you know?
They should put that on the But Why Though podcast.
Yes. Definitely. I need that explained. So in 1926, they got another job together and became live-in servants at the mansion of Renee Lancelin, who was a...
Lancelin? Lanolin?
I know I'm pronouncing it really awful.
Lancelin? Okay.
And he was a retired lawyer. Christine became the family's cook, and Leah cleaned the house. Literally a French maid. Renee Lancelin and his wife Leonie lived at the home, and their adult daughter Genevieve would visit often. So they were in charge of taking care of all three of them, basically. The girls worked 14-hour days with only 1 half day off each week, which was normal for servants at the time.
Yeah.
I read that and I'm like, Kelly and I both have 2 jobs, and I do a shit ton of podcasts and stuff. Like,
yeah, we're not cleaning.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, we're not cleaning though for the Lancelins.
I know. Yeah, I'm just being an asshole.
No.
Yeah, it's fucked
That's
up.
hard.
That's really, really long. If you only have 10 hours off every day and you should be sleeping 8 hours, I mean, that's fucking awful.
And 3 of them you're spooning with your sister. Right. I mean,
yep.
Where's time for you?
Where's me time?
Yeah.
So the Papin girls, of course, kept to themselves. They did their work. They followed orders from the Lancelin family. And by all accounts, they were really good workers. They showed no interest in the outside world and only spent their free time with each other. Again, the same as always. And they only left the house to attend church. There are conflicting accounts of how the Papin sisters were treated by the Lancelins. It's possible that their employers started off really kind, were great employers, and became more cold over time. But there's also some people that say they were great employers and some people that say that they were awful. My theory is that they started off great and over time it kind of deteriorated, you know?
Any people that have servants for 14 hours a day are shit people in some aspect.
Yes, I agree. However, at the time, that was just what you did when you had money.
Don't excuse it.
Don't
excuse it.
Yes.
People say the same thing about slavery, man.
No. But you know what I mean? It just seemed normal to them. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not excusing it. However, they were given a standard wage of the time, if not a little bit higher. They were given a heated room with a balcony. No, don't make that face at me. Those things.
Oh, it's so much better now.
Those things were virtually unheard of for servants.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the Lancelin family, however awful they are, let's first of all remember that they were murder victims.
Yes.
And second of all, remember that time, that was basically like working at a minimum wage job and the owner decides to give you an extra couple bucks an hour. You know what I mean? Like, this was definitely above and beyond what was expected at the time.
Didn't know they were the murder victims, and comparatively, they are treated better.
Yeah.
Totally.
I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
I definitely, of course, think that the murder stems from a class struggle.
Yeah.
However, I think that they were trying to actually do right by their servants. Instead of take advantage of them and be abusive and exploit them, they actually wanted to have employees, not people that were actually treated badly and taken advantage of, and, you know?
Yeah.
They were trying to actually watch out for them.
Yes.
Additionally, they were provided with health insurance, which is, again, virtually unheard of at the time.
Yeah, like 1911?
Yes.
What? There's no health insurance?
Yes. So I'm saying they're not perfect.
Okay.
I don't agree with them having servants. I just think it's kind of fucking awful.
Cool.
But as far as having that position, they were treated really well and paid well. Or at least that's at the beginning.
Like. Okay,
you know?
Yeah.
When they were first working for the Lancelins, their mother, Clemence, would come over to the house weekly for a visit. But of course, as we know Clemence, she was actually just pretending to visit with her daughters. And her real reason for coming was that she was taking their money. Clemence was coming in basically after payday and rolling through and taking all their wages every week. When the mother, Leonie, found out about this, she confronted Clemence and told her she was no longer allowed to visit and she would no longer be able to take their money. And she was very confrontational with her and straight up said, your gravy train is leaving the station, basically. Yeah. So there was a lot of ways in which she was really looking out for their well-being. After this, the sisters actually called Leonie Mama, and they referred to their actual mother as that woman.
Aww.
Yeah. So she did take them in and kind of, even though they were her employees, she did treat them well enough to where they looked at her as sort of a maternal figure.
Yeah, she's Stockholm syndrome then.
Oh,
Right?
no.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think she was treating them well. Again, I think at first they were actually close and they brought them in at the family. It was also really unheard of for example, a family that was wealthy to have their servants eat the same food as them.
Oh, okay.
So they would actually feed them the same food. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, there's a lot of ways in which it's still a really fucked up system.
I just
And
like talking shit, and you could see the guilt all over your face.
I know.
every
I feel
time.
bad. I
Like,
feel
you
bad for
kept
everyone in
servants.
this situation.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's just really awful that they had to do this and that they were put in a position by their mother to earn money for
Yeah,
them.
fuck their mom.
Every way you turn, these girls were really, victims.
She's like the Kris Jenner of the 1900s.
Something like that.
So
Yeah.
Kris Jenner's a boss. She doesn't go asking for money. She takes that
She's
money.
like, that's my money.
That's my money.
So, but I don't know. I mean, once they got to the Lance Lynn house, I think they did have some stability that they were craving. They did stay working there for a long time, but of course, they're still servants. At the end of the day,
You're a servant.
No matter how well you're treated, you're still a servant.
Mm-hmm.
So there was, definitely some issues between them. There was a different class, no matter how well they were treated. So after a while, though, like I said, my theory is that over time that kind of deteriorated. Everything was great in the beginning, but there were accounts of Leonie being very critical and mean to the girls, especially towards the end. And after they worked there for a while, she was kind of looking for things that they were doing wrong, basically.
You ever get mad at someone when just everything they do is wrong? You're like, why are you opening the door like that? Fucking, why are you breathing through your nose? You know what
I feel like that happens when you spend way too much time with someone.
Yeah, every boyfriend I've
Yeah,
had.
I was going to say, I don't want to blow up the spot for you, but I believe you're talking about boyfriends here. Yeah, after a while, it's just like they're sleeping and you're just like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
I hate that song. Why do you even like that song? And then you go on a full-on rant on like, you're just so dumb. Nobody likes Green Day. Just fucking change the song.
You know what you could do though? You could just like
murder
leave
them
the
with a
house.
song?
Well, you could.
Oh.
You could have a pillow and just put it over their face, or you could just leave the house and get some distance for like a day, and then you won't catch a case. Just trying to look out for you.
Where's the fun in that?
You're right. Do it. So Leonie would sometimes make Leia clean things again if she didn't think it looked clean enough. And she would take her back to the spot and show her how it wasn't done well. She started doing like the white glove test to see if there was dust after Leia was cleaning. Yeah.
If you want something done right, do that shit yourself
Right?
and not pay a servant.
You get down here, bitch. Damn.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a white glove test like before an anal scene. Did you do your enema? That prostate test going.
That's only good if it's clean every time. You're like, yep, because I don't want to be there on the day where it's like, oh my God.
Well, it happens.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't pass the white glove test. Leonie also gave Christine negative feedback about her cooking. So she would say all of a sudden the meals that Christine had been cooking for a while just weren't good enough. She didn't like this or that, and she would criticize them.
This isn't vegan.
Right? Bitch, when did you become vegan?
Why is there gluten in this?
There were even accounts over time of Leonie striking or pinching the girls when she was upset with them. So if they didn't do a good job, sometimes at this point, she would start especially pinching.
I fucking hate that more than hitting.
I'd
you
rather
punch
you
me in the
hit
face.
me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tickle me or pinch me and I'll murder you.
Yeah, that's fucking awful. Even though there were some issues with Leonie, the Papin sisters still worked for the Lance Lynn house for years. By 1933, the Papin sisters had been with the Lance Lynns for 6 years. Christine was 27 and Leah was 21 years old.
6 years of pinching.
I know. Honestly, I think it probably happened around the 3-year mark. Again, that's my theory, but it seems like at first, by all accounts, she was a really maternal figure and took them in and wanted to be kind. But over time, she was just critical and mean. And yeah, I believe that it deteriorated. The sisters were getting more and more upset about Leonie, of course, because she was becoming more and more cruel to them. There was a particularly upsetting incident where Leah was on her hands and knees, she was cleaning the floor, and Leonie was standing over her, pinching her and yelling that she had missed a spot. After this incident, that night, Leah told Christine that if Leonie did it again, she would defend herself. Christine was extremely upset by their treatment and became really edgy and rageful towards the end of their employment there. People recall that Christine's behavior seemed erratic and even manic at the time. On February 2nd, 1933, Leonie and her daughter Genevieve arrived home at 5:30 to find the house was completely dark. When they went inside, Leah and Christine informed them that the faulty iron had caused the lights in the house to black out. Earlier in the week, that same iron had caused the same issue, and it was taken to the repair shop. But that morning, the repairman had returned the iron and said there was nothing wrong with it. So because he had told them that everything was okay with the iron, Leonie assumed that it was actually Leah's fault, and she was furious that the same issue had happened again, and she believed it was not the iron. Leonie began yelling at the sisters because she was really upset about the same issue happening with an iron that was apparently cleared by the repairman.
As if these girls want to sit in the fucking dark.
Right. Like, yeah, I did it on purpose, bitch. Like,
yeah, we like sitting here in the pitch black waiting for you to come pinch yell whatever the fuck you're going to do.
By this time, Leah was not passive about it, and she decided to fight back.
Yeah, fucking pinch, pinch, pinch.
Right?
And pinch you till
Titty
you shit your
twisters
pants.
all day.
Yeah.
Instead of taking it passively, Leah was arguing and not backing down from the confrontation. But suddenly, Christine grabbed a pewter jug and smashed it over Leonie's head.
Oh, shit.
Genevieve jumped in, of course, to help her mother, so Leah got involved to help her sister. Christine shouted out, "I'm going to massacre them," while taking swings at the mother and the daughter. She then pointed to Leonie and told Leah, "Smash her head into the ground." Christine lunged at Genevieve and tore her eyes out with her fingers.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Dude, you can't keep people as servants, man.
I know.
I swear to God,
I know.
it's just it happens throughout history. Don't people always rebel against fucking the oppressor?
There's always a class struggle.
Thank you. Like,
Yes. But especially, you can't expect someone to just take abuse like that forever.
Specifically in France, isn't there like a big history of people getting beheaded, like they beheading like the kings and queens and Marie Antoinette, you know?
Rebellions and whatnot.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I guess
This is a tough one because I'm so torn. Like this is no way to die.
This sucks.
But at the same time, this is no way to live as a servant.
I just see where this could have been avoided, you know?
Absolutely.
Treat people like equals.
Yes.
They had a tough childhood.
Yeah.
Pewter, right? I know that. It's like a metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like a woodsy looking metal. Did Jesus have it?
I don't know.
No, honestly, all I know is that we have butt plugs that say pewter on them, but they're not pewter. They just like
They're fake pewter.
fake pewter. Pewter always reminds me of Jesus.
So after Christine started the attack, she also commanded Leah to gouge out Leonie's eyes in the same way that she had done Genevieve's.
They go with their thumbs.
Yeah. When the mother and daughter were incapacitated and helpless from lack of sight, Christine ran downstairs to the kitchen to get weapons. She returned with a knife and a hammer. The sisters proceeded to bludgeon and stab Leonie and Genevieve, mostly in their lower body, like their thighs and their butt.
Ugh.
Experts estimate that the incident lasted about 30 minutes
Holy shit.
before they succumbed to their injuries. Once they were dead, the girls began preparing to cook them.
Hold on.
Christine said that she had a rabbit recipe that she thought would work, but then they decided before following through that they would scrap that plan. Instead, they took Genevieve's menstrual blood and smeared it all over Leonie's body. Once they finished, the sisters left the bodies there and headed to their bedroom. That night, the Lancelin family was supposed to attend a dinner party together. But when Rene Lancelin arrived home to pick up his wife and daughter, the house was dark. So, of course, he assumed that they had left without him. So he just, instead of going inside, continued on and went to the dinner party to meet them. Once he arrived at the party, he became concerned because they weren't there. And he waited for a little while, but after they didn't show up, he decided to go back home and check for them. When Rene arrived at the house with his son-in-law, they saw that the lights were still off, except for there was one candle that was lit upstairs, and the house was completely locked down.
Fucking iron.
Right? He was worried, and he thought the situation was suspicious. And he thought that it was suspicious enough that he should get the police involved. He knew something was wrong. The police arrived, and they instructed the men to wait outside while they went around back and they jumped the fence in the backyard to get into the house. The house was dark, and they used a flashlight to investigate once they were inside. When they were coming up the stairs, an officer noticed what looked like a marble on the landing leading up to the second floor. As he got closer, he was horrified to realize it was actually an eyeball.
Gross.
When they arrived at the second floor, they saw two female bodies that were unrecognizable. Genevieve's second eyeball would later be found underneath her body. Both of Leonie's eyeballs were wrapped within layers of her neck scarf that was around her neck. Leonie was on her back with her legs apart and only one shoe on, and Genevieve was laying next to her, face down. The kitchen knife was still next to the bodies, and blood spatter was observed up to 6 feet high on the walls. The officers had been informed that there was 2 servant girls that were inside the house as well, so they were concerned that the Papin sisters had possibly met the same fate as the Lancelins. The officers continued up to the 3rd floor and found that the door to the Papin sisters' room was locked. They knocked, but of course, no answer. But they heard voices inside, so they knew that the Papin sisters were in there. Eventually, there were a couple accounts that either they kicked the door in or they got a locksmith. I highly doubt they waited for a locksmith, but that's just me.
Yeah. Just kick the door.
But when they got into the room, they found the Papin sisters were just calmly lying in bed. Varying accounts detailed that either they were naked or they were just wearing like a small sleeping robe or something. And I don't know if that's just to kind of sensationalize the incest aspect of it or if that was actually true that they were naked. Next to the bed was a chair that had a bloody hammer on it that still had bits of hair in it. Police asked them what happened, and the sisters immediately confessed to the crime, but didn't express any remorse or anything. They just said they did it, but nothing like they feel bad or anything like that. Christine and Leah were placed in prison separately, which made Christine furious and distraught. She would have fits and throw tantrums on the floor and beg to see her sister. Corrections officers observed that she had appeared to gyrate on the floor in a sexual manner. Her behavior was so concerning that they actually agreed to let her see Leah, which I feel like that's just a bad call.
Yeah, that just enabled, that just shows her that it worked.
Yes.
That gyrating worked.
Yeah. When they were reunited, Christine threw herself into Leah's arms, and the conversation seemed to indicate a relationship that wasn't just family. Then suddenly, Christine tried to take Leah's shirt off.
Whoa.
And tried to convince her to have sex. The officers were appalled and separated them immediately, and this was the first time that anyone in the outside world actually saw something happen between them, an interaction that was more than just family. So after the corrections officers separated them for a second time, Christine was again completely distraught and upset, and she tried to gouge her own eye out.
Ugh.
And she had to be restrained to prevent self-harm. Christine said that she had suffered a similar fit on the day of the murders, and she was implying that her behavior was a consequence of mental illness. The next day, after she calmed down, Christine told the detectives that she had masterminded the entire thing and Leah had nothing to do with the murders because she was attempting to get her sister free. The trial began and the public was watching closely. It got a lot of attention because of the brutality of the murders, as well as the class struggle like we had talked about. People were really fascinated by the servant girls that had killed their employers and basically saw it as a representation of that kind of rebellion and uprising that we were talking about. A lot of people saw it as a reflection of the disparity between how the French people that were rich lived and the conditions that the poor people lived in that served them.
The French fucking Revolution.
Yes, exactly. Other people believe that the Papin sisters had been treated well with fair wages and decent working conditions and some perks above and beyond what other servants had experienced. Mm-hmm. These people believed that the Papin sisters had received living accommodations better than most servants, had eaten the exact same food as their employers, and had been given health insurance in addition to fair wages. So it didn't really make sense that they would have that as their motive to murder their employer. Because even if everything went best case scenario, the people that didn't believe this motive thought they would still end up in another employer that was worse off than the one that they were at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But they didn't deal with the pinching.
Yeah, the pinching is what really did it. They didn't know about the pinching.
Fuck the meals.
The court appointed 3 doctors to administer psychological evaluations to the sisters in order to determine if they were sane. Christine exhibited indifference and detachment towards the world, and Leah was the only thing that she cared about. Psychologists say that Leah looked up to Christine as a big sister or mother figure.
That you fucked?
Right?
Okay, all right.
There was a family history of psychological issues, with their grandfather suffering from fits of undisclosed nature. It wasn't sure if they had epilepsy or if he was having similar kind of emotional breakdowns like Christine was having, but he was reported to have fits. There was another undisclosed relative that had been institutionalized, and their lawyer claimed that Christine was a paranoid schizophrenic.
This is one gyrating family.
Right?
Ugh, Grandpa's on the floor again.
Maybe they just have really good choreography. However, the psychological evaluations determined that the sisters were actually sane. They did seem to be experiencing a folie à deux, which is French for madness of two, which is also referred to as a shared paranoid disorder.
Is that when sisters have sex?
No, that's GSA, like we covered earlier.
It's called a ménage à trois.
It's called twincest. So a folie à deux is where 2 individuals experience the same delusions and paranoia.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. So it's like they're suffering from the same exact thing, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So people experience folie à deux, lead an intense inward-looking existence, and are paranoid about the outside world. So basically, they're kind of preserving and protecting what the 2 individuals have, and nothing else matters. It's typical with a shared paranoid disorder for one person to dominate the other, and it seems Christine was the one that took the lead on that dynamic. Leah was completely consumed by her sister's identity, to the point that her personality was nothing more than just an extension of Christine's. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of other examples of folie à deux, and I can't remember any off the top of my head, mostly because I'm tired. Mm-hmm. But this happens with serial killers that have partners and stuff like that.
Like a Mickey and Mallory Knox?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like how I just responded to that, like, that's a real person. Yes, these are real things that happened. True crime, emphasis on true. The trial also explored whether a lack of a strong father figure contributed to their unstable emotions and inability to control their feelings.
Oh, because dads fucking make the world go round, right?
Yeah. Because angry fathers punching walls are really clearly an example, or freaking out about football. Yeah, men are keeping it together with their emotions.
No,
totally.
but you know what? When your mom tries to fucking sell you off and shit and,
Yeah.
you know, fuck the mom.
Yeah, it's just bad parenting.
It's just bad
But
parenting.
everything comes back to just like the men fix everything. It's always the woman's fault.
Yeah.
You know, if he would have not been a drunk, everything would have been fine. It's just like, no, there's no guarantee that he still would have been a good parent not having alcohol. He was still a fucking molester.
I know. You're going to forget that
like-
he's a fucking molester?
Yeah.
Like, oh, life would have been way better if they lived with him.
Right?
Like, what?
Yeah, just the presence of a man, no matter how bad he was and how unsuited he was for fatherhood.
Yeah.
It was still what would have fixed the situation. But we don't talk about how he was an unfit father. It's only that she was unsuited for motherhood.
Well, who else is going to ground them?
Who's going to pay this light bill? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. That shit makes me pretty mad.
I couldn't tell.
I just want to make fart noises with my mouth.
Wait, I can't do a part. Wait. I wish you could do the armpit ones, you
Right?
know? Every time we just...
When I see something that's just like, that sucks. Like, what the fuck? Why is a man going to fix everything? Fart noise. So in addition to the daddy issue theory, the court also examined their menstrual cycles and explored the possibility of hysteria because both of the murderers had been on their period at the time of the killings.
Honestly, it makes sense. I swear to God, if that's a good fucking defense... I
just feel like people should learn their lessons. Don't fuck with us.
Yeah,
That's
don't
all I'm
fuck with
saying.
me 2
Just
weeks
keep
out
a
of the year.
calendar and
Yeah.
keep your goddamn mouth shut. Okay.
Exactly. Know my cycle. And it's like being aware of your surroundings. You know, they tell women to, you know, don't wear short skirts and watch behind you when you're walking late at night. Like,
Yeah.
people should just
you
know.
should have period calendars.
Yeah.
We should have an app where it just syncs up with everyone so we know what everyone on this block is up to when it comes to their bleeding.
Especially when I'm driving. Like, get the fuck away from me when I'm driving.
Oh, man.
Don't
It's
bleed
just-
and drive.
The world would be a safer place.
Yeah. Damn. I'm going to use the old fucking menstrual defense.
Yeah, for everything. For everything. A theory that the court didn't explore, though, was the possibility that one of the Lancelin family members had discovered that the sisters were having this illicit affair. If someone had discovered that they were in a sexual relationship, of course, the folie à deux would make it so that they had to protect that at all costs, and they would just be reacting to kind of being discovered and risking losing their sister.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
makes no sense. Go back to bleeding.
True. I don't know, but still in all of this, it's just kind of like killing doesn't solve anything. But of course, I'm trying to add, you know, a rational thought to a murder, and it just doesn't work that way.
No, but it's not rational, and that's the whole point, is that their relationship is completely not rational. It's not based. You think you're gonna lose your sister, so you're gonna do anything to protect that relationship, including murder. So
Yeah.
it's totally not crazy for them.
It's I don't know. It's all of the above, I think.
Yeah.
It's, of course, like the class struggle. It's the relationship.
Yeah.
It's like the psychological dynamic between them that's causing them to be together. Like,
Yeah.
the whole thing is contributing to them lashing out at anyone that comes near to their threatening their little relationship
Yeah,
unit.
don't threaten our tribe.
Right?
Don't do it.
In September 1933, a crowd gathered in front of the court awaiting the verdicts. After only 40 minutes of deliberation, the jurors found the sisters guilty. Pretty open shut case.
Yeah.
Open legs, shut mouths. Leah was considered to be following Christine as more of an accomplice. So she was given a 10-year sentence, while Christine was sentenced to death.
For 2 people?
Yeah.
10 years for 2 people for
Yeah.
just tagging along? That's not too
Again,
bad.
I think this is a class struggle thing where she was sentenced to death because they were rich people, you know?
Yeah.
But the 10 years, that does seem pretty small.
Pretty small for gouging and, you know,
Yeah.
of
A
this
brutal murder.
yeah, really. Like, you know, they really went to town on their lower bodies. That
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, I just think that they really did take into account that Leah wasn't even herself. Like, she was so attached to Christine's personality that they questioned whether she was even almost conscious during the murders. Like, it was almost like she had been blacked out since they had been involved in this folie à deux, you know? Christine's sentence was later commuted to life imprisonment. After the sentencing, Christine was allowed to see Leah one more time. When the corrections officers brought Leah in, Christine did not recognize her, and she didn't know her at all.
What?
Yes. She said that the person they brought in was a very nice lady, but wasn't her sister.
Wait, I don't get it. Why did she forget?
I have no idea.
Is it a breakdown or
something
weed?
snapped in her brain? Yeah, it could be really loud weed. We never know.
Yeah, maybe she just couldn't hang. Because all her sister's got to do is go commit another crime, and then boom, they're in jail together forever. Right. Problem solved.
Yeah, it's weird. Something happened in her brain where she just didn't recognize her own sister anymore.
Shit.
Yeah.
What a fucking waste if you guys did that for the folly, blah, blah, blah. You know? And then it's just gone. That just dissipates. Like, there's nothing to it now.
Yeah.
What would be the point?
To me, adds another layer of creepiness on top of the already creepy shit.
Oh, yeah. It's super creepy.
Weird, right?
We don't know what the fuck happened. And that's really unstable if you can't remember someone. But it also seems kind of pointless to me. Well, I'm glad what's her name only got 10 years. I'm not glad. But as glad as I could be, because if you're following someone like that and you don't really have that personality, maybe there's a hope for rehabilitation. Does that make sense?
Possibly,
like,
yeah. Once
maybe?
You're not in the situation with your sister.
Yeah,
then,
you're not tied to
yeah.
her. You have to force yourself to be on your own and be your own separate person. So
yeah,
if anyone's going to have a chance for rehabilitation.
Yeah, I hear that.
You don't
it's kind of like
happy.
someone that's deprogrammed from a cult.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whew, thank you.
Christine, once they were separated again, became extremely depressed. She would refuse to eat and suffered from frequent breakdowns. She was transferred to a mental institution. However, she continued to starve herself until she died in May of 1937.
She starved herself to death?
Yes.
That takes a long fucking time.
I know.
Solid 30 days, right?
I don't know. I think for everyone it's different, but...
I know water plays but damn, that's not an easy way to go. It's not like 2 days.
Leah, on the other hand, was a model prisoner who only served 8 years of her 10-year sentence. She was released from prison in 1941 and moved in with her estranged mother. According to some sources, Leah changed her name and began working as a housekeeper in a hotel. There are conflicting reports that say Leah either died in 1982 or in 2001. Someone found her for a documentary in 2000, but it's not, for some reason it's disputed as to whether that was actually Leah Papin or if it was someone else. Either way, both of them are gone now.
How the fuck did she get a housekeeping job?
I know.
Check your fucking references.
Yeah. And at least it was in a hotel, so she wasn't working for another rich family again, but still.
She's not.
I mean, references are
families?
references, though, because you can just fake that shit. And then give them your mom's number, and then they call your mom, and she's
true.
like, hey, she's great. No dust.
In 1930s.
White glove test all day.
That's true. You're right.
Yeah,
I think in 1930 when they have like one landline, you know, there's
right,
no
you can
like,
stalk the fuck out of a potential employee right now. But back in the day,
it's a little harder.
yeah.
True. Wow.
So that was the story of the Papin sisters.
I feel like I need a shower.
I know, right?
I don't want to talk to any of my sisters for a while.
This doesn't make you want to kill someone with them? Or?
No. Yeah. I was really happy to see my sister
Crime
last
spree?
night. Now I feel gross. Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, it's a gory one.
Yeah, the eyeballs get me.
I know. Anytime that happens in a horror movie, I almost toss my cookies.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Wait, you have cookies?
Always at all times I have cookies in my stomach. It's a prerequisite for me living on this earth.
What kind of cookies?
I mean, to be honest, it's usually just raw cookie dough. You know, I rarely eat cookies. I'm just all about that dough life.
That dough. Just scooping out that dough. I scooped out peanut butter out of a jar last night at 5 a.m.
You're all about your nut butters.
Nut butter
all the time.
Like a scoop of honey and a scoop of nut butters in my mouth.
Sleep eating.
Nothing makes me feel better nothing makes me feel okay about listening to incest than nut butters.
Right?
That delicious.
When you have good food, you can hear almost anything and just be okay with it. Good food and just bad jokes.
Ice cream and incest.
So that's the Papin sisters.
What's poppin'?
That is what's poppin' this week.
That's
it.
That was great. I just can hear 1,000 songs with the word poppin' in it in my head, but dude, I know what time it is. Are you ready?
It's actually just time for Patreon supporters.
Woo!
And yeah.
I'm excited.
And then we out ya. So we want to say thank you again to our
Cassie?
Patreon supporters, Cassie,
Seneca, and hold on, don't tell me another. Nikki, no, it's a
Nicole. You were so close.
Yeah.
Cassie, Nicole, and Seneca, thank you so much again
thank
for
you,
your
guys.
Patreon support. This week, I don't have iTunes reviews pulled up, and I'm sorry.
Oh, because people hate us.
No, because I just don't have them pulled up right now. But next week, we'll do iTunes reviews.
Oh, cool.
And also, once again, we have t-shirts and merch and mugs, iPhone cases, all sorts of shit.
Wait, I have a review. Kelly and Brianna are so funny and so hot. I would like to be the ice cream in between that cookie sandwich. Love, Jason Momoa. Oh my God,
Ooh.
that's so crazy.
Spicy.
Oh, that's my. I just happened to see it.
He
emailed it to me personally.
Looking at this list of like relationship facts of Jason Momoa and
Lisa Bonet.
Lisa Bonet because I'm just low-key obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Just
Here's a fact.
Sandwich.
Watching them fuck is better than anything in the world. I don't even know.
I think my eyeballs would just die afterwards. They would just be like, no, I'm peaking, so I'm going to kill myself because there's nothing better than this that's ever happened.
Oh my God.
Did I tell you that they went to my mom's gym?
Yes.
And my mom would like freak out and text me all the time.
Oh
Just
my
be like,
God.
Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet are here.
Just drop
and I'm like, I'll be
everything.
right there. Oh my God.
My roommate watched, put on this movie called, I keep calling it, it's not Bad Catch, but it's like not Bad Touch.
No, it's the movie
Bad
they
Games.
did together, right?
I don't know if it's Lisa Bonet. It's just Jason Momoa, but he's definitely like just a tatted up, beautiful Latin origin man with like a funny accent, which is good. And he's in the middle of the desert, just throwing this little fucking white lady over his shoulder.
That's all I need in life.
My roommate's played that movie like 4 times in a row. She's like, she's so hot. He is so amazing. Every time she gets home, she's great soundtrack too. But she just played it 4 times.
Honestly,
she wants to fuck the shit out of him.
I could just watch videos of him working out all the time. It's kind of disgusting how much I've watched that on YouTube.
It's just his
Him like
eyebrows.
prepping for Aquaman and shit.
Damn it, Jason
Ridiculous.
Momoa.
Rock climbing.
Oh my God.
It's too much.
True crime, beat off and chill?
Oh, yeah. So, on that note,
Can't wait for shirts.
so shirts are going to be at murderdictionary.threadless.com.
Yes.
So if you want to get some merch, check that out. Again, I'm going to add that link to our show notes so it'll be there and probably post it on social media if you want to just click on that. If you haven't followed us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, go ahead over there and follow us on there. We've got a ton of episode info and we update when we release new episodes, anything going on Patreon. We just post memes.
You got
shit
some
like
sick
that.
videos that you just learned how to do?
Yes.
I like it.
All about that video life now. And also in our show notes, we're going to have, again, resources for domestic violence and suicide prevention, anti-bullying, and stuff like that. So if you want those resources, the links will be in our show notes. And I think that's pretty much it for this week.
We need to start some field trips. So if anyone's got any ideas, but we got Los
If you are
Feliz.
in the LA area
Yeah.
and you know some interesting murder shit
Yeah.
that you want to go visit,
And take me and Brianna, and you could blindfold us, and then like when we get there, like hold
just
our
be
hands.
like, ta-da!
Yeah. Someone died here.
Yeah, we want to
Yeah.
do some field trips.
Yeah,
So we down.
yeah. The field
We're going to
trip-
get a bus. The
gonna
Murder
go-
Dictionary bus.
It's gonna go straight to my basement, my crawl space.
Ew.
It kind of looks like that. Remember that article with the eels? Remember with the sticky
my
eels?
God.
That's what my crawl space looks like.
Ew. Did y'all see those pictures? That was nasty.
Sticky, icky, icky.
Icky, icky. Yep.
Yeah, ready?
Yeah.
I'm half asleep.
You ready to sticky, icky, and true crime and chill?
Yeah, let's do it. And think about Jason Momoa and that ice cream sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Good call on McDonald's for lunch.
Yeah, let's eat.
Okay, we have the oh yeah for me.
Can you hand me my
Yep, and here are a couple of woot-wits to share.
I love my woohoo!
Oh, sounds like Stacy went to McDonald's too.
For a limited time, grab a hot and spicy McChicken and small fries for just $3 at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.
At Metro, the best deal in wireless is on. Switch to Metro and get 1 full Amazon Prime membership included every month. Plus, get 2 free phones from top brands like Samsung and LG with huge HD screens. All with 2 lines for just $90. That's the best deal in wireless, only at Metro. Plus sales tax and activation fee. Requires port in of eligible number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. Limit 4 per account or house.